Hello and welcome to another Excel demo with Rich Kerr. In this scenario, we're going to take a look at how you can create numbering for values that match a certain criteria. If you take a look at column A, we have different job titles, and we want in column B to number only those entries that say analyst, or could be manager or admin, what have you. It'll work for any of the values. So this comes from a request from someone who was watching the channel. So thank you for your request. We'll get this taken care of. So how do we do it? How do we make it so the first analyst is now called analyst 1, analyst 2, and then if I add some more data to my list, and one of those entries is analyst, I can fill that formula down, and we see the next one is analyst 8. So how do we do that? Okay, I'm going to blow away the existing formula. You can probably see it as I'm selecting the column to delete the data, but we're going to walk through how you set it up. Okay, so the person that asked the question on the channel was asking about using the sequence function for this, though there's a much easier way to go in my opinion, and I would just use the count if function. Here's how we do it. We say equals if. So first we're going to test to see if that cell to the left is equal to your criteria. In this case, the word analyst. Okay, so if it's equal to the word analyst, then we want this cell to say the word analyst, leave a space, and with my and symbol, I'll concatenate that with the count that represents. So if we use count if, open paren, and we reference dynamically expanding range. So we're going to say starting with A2, and you want to lock in the reference to A2, but then the second coordinate in that cell address will also just be A2 but not locked. So in other words, for this version of the formula in row 2, it's just doing a count if against that cell. But the next row down, this is going to be looking at A2 through A3. So this coordinate will continue to expand as you fill it down. So as you have more rows, it's still going to start at A2 because you've locked row 1 for the first coordinate. Right? So this is going to give me the count of the word analyst. Now, if it doesn't say analyst over in cell A2, we don't want to do anything. We can just put 2 quotes to have an empty value. And what did I miss here? So oh yeah, we need the criteria for the count if as well, right? So the range is $2 through A2, comma, and my criteria once again is the word analyst. So we see that word in there quite a few times, right? Let's just step through it one more time. So if A2 equals the word analyst, then we want our result to say analyst with a space after it, combined with or concatenated with the count of the number of instances of the word analyst from the current cell or the starting cell A2 through the current cell or current row is a better way to think about it. So in row 2, it's just A2 through A2. As we fill it down, this will continue. If this first logical test is false, if it doesn't equal analyst, we just put nothing. So we'll hit our enter key. So of course the first one is analyst 1, and then we fill it down. So now, for example, we take a look at how the formula reads. In this instance, it's checking A4, right, because that wasn't fixed. That was a relative cell reference. But now it's looking from A2 through A4 because we didn't lock that coordinate. So there are 2 instances of the word analyst from A2 to A4. So analyst space and 2. And there you go. That's how you do it. Now, you can make it dynamic. You could do any position. And the syntax actually would be somewhat simpler in some ways. So in other words, not only numbering the analysts, but the sales reps, the account executives, the managers, etc. You could say something like equals this cell and a space, right? So whatever's in A2 and a space, and count if, open paren, and again A2 $2 through A2, comma, and the criteria would just be that same cell, A2. So it's going to do it for everybody. We're just, instead of typing in the word analyst, we're just referencing the cell to the left. And then there's no reason to do an if statement here, because we're not just checking for the word analyst. We're using any value over in column A. And so now we have analyst 1, and when we fill it down, we now have numbering for each of the entries. So this is sales rep number 1. I don't have any other sales reps, right? So let's say I were to come in here and change this admin to sales rep. Now that's sales rep 2, right? This is manager number 4 down here. This is analyst 8. So in this version of the formula, it's doing it for every possible job title. But in this version, this is more directly about the question that someone asked me on the channel on checking for a specific value and adding a sequence number. That's it. I hope you found it useful. Please tune in again soon for more Excel demos with Rich Kerr. Have a productive day. Peace.